In the last video, we created our, we added the functionality to populate our server list. So when we hit get servers, go to find game, we have our server list here. Now I want to create a refresh servers option down here. And once you click it, I want it to be disabled for X seconds. Or if the server or getting the servers fail or something like that, probably just going to do for a certain amount of seconds for now. So let's begin. I'm going to create a new button. And I'm going to open up World at War just to kind of see roughly what it's like. Follow a similar format. Right, so we have refresh list up at the top. Let's see. I have other buttons somewhere. I'm going to copy one of these. Change it to refresh list. And I'm going to, let's see, anchor it to the top right. -1. All right, wrong direction. I'll have it be in line, so 2, 1.9. There we go. We're not going to be adding a quick refresh option, but my kind of logic for that one would be we would be looping through the servers that we already have, and this would be something that we would do in the beacon. So we would make pretty much a way to do a quick connect to the beacon, and we would get the server information from it, update it, and then move on to the next entry. But we will not be covering that in this series. So we have a refresh list. See roughly, let's drop it down a bit. All right, you are not changing at all. Let's just drag you down. And I'm just going to bring it right on top. Oh, please don't crash. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Just got to move it a little farther to the right. All right, that should be squared up, which it is. So now let's create a on-clicked event. And once it's pressed, we're going to pretty much just be doing what that test server thing button that we created does. Now let's rename the button to b_find_refresh list. And let's confirm that it works. Find game, refresh list, and there we go. All right, so now let's add a little bit of a delay. So I'm going to create a new function. Let's call it enable server refresh. And what that's going to do, it's going to get our refresh list button, and we're going to enable it. So set is enabled to false, mean the true. Going to get the button. We're going to set enabled to false right after we click it. Then we're going to set a simple timer by function name. Function name is enable server refresh. It's not going to be looping. The initial, let's see. Yeah, I think it should just be the time that we alter. So let's do 5 seconds, keep it short, because again, we are testing. So I click it, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. And it's still disabled. So let's print out a string and see if it fires. I'm gonna change it to 2 seconds. On Mississippi 2. Okay, so it's not firing. Let's set the object to self. Maybe that was the cause. No? Triple check that I have the name right. Ah, I spelled the name wrong. On Mississippi 2 Mississippi. And we're enabled. Alright, so I'm gonna change the time back to 5. And delete that print string. So now we have the thing of whenever we refresh, it should duplicate. Like so. And it's going to continually add more and more. So now it should like quadruple. And it's just going to keep adding more and more and more and more. And it's just going to, the scale is going to increase with how many it adds. So what we need to do in our war, when we on server list request complete, what I'm going to do is if everything is valid, I'm going to, let's see here, go through, I'm going to do a count. So if, let's see, JSON values dot num is greater than 0, what I'm going to do is wipe our server data. So our T array of server, our server list, sorry, server list dot empty. Right, I'm gonna go ahead and compile. And over here in our event, that's in our bound to our constructor, we want to clear our servers. So we're going to move this over. I'm going to get my scroll box. I'm going to call clear children and reconnect. Okay, let's give this a try. Close the war. Find game, refresh. Right, get my servers, and when I refresh again, they're still the same. And if I just add one real quick, like so, apply, and refresh again, we get that very new, well, we get that new entry right up here. Probably gonna lower the font size of the text a little bit, but at least we know everything's updating properly. So I'm gonna go back to my designer, main page, delete the get servers button, and in the server browser item, I'm gonna set the font size down to, let's do 20. There. That's a little more pleasant. Okay, so we now have our server browser set up and working. So the only thing that we need to do now is when we click on a server, we want to join it. So we're going to use that with pretty much what we already have set up for our beacon. And we've already stored, I don't know why I closed that. We've already stored the join address. So the only thing that we want to do here, I'm actually going to make all this stuff private real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function. It's going to be public. Call it get join address. Or actually, no, because we're binding this to our, sorry, completely ignore what I was saying. We're binding it to a button. So what we want to do is set the owner right here for our create widget. We have the owning player. Let's say that's owning player object. So we can add another parameter for it to take in. I'm going to call this one parent widget because I want the functionality to be in the main menu. And it's going to be of type w underscore main menu, object reference, instance editable, expose it on spawn. And I'm simply going to refresh here. And it's going to be a reference to self. And I want to create unless we already have one, which we do not. I want to create a new function in our main menu and call it join lobby. It's going to be public. And it's going to take in a parameter that's going to be of a string. And it's going to call it join address. And set all these to private, but it's not too big of a deal. So now in our server browser item, go to designer, on our button, create an onClicked. What we're going to do is we're going to get our parent widget, check if it's valid. If it's valid, we're going to do join lobby. And we're going to pass in the join address. So I want to print this string out. And it should say 127.0.0.1 when we click it. So click 111. Well, it does have the, I forgot we changed it to random IP addresses in our database, but it is working. So in the next video, we're going to be setting this up to join the server because this one's getting a little long and I'm trying to keep them short. So we're just going to set that functionality up, which we've already made, so it should be very quick and easy to do. So I will see you then.